Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're dismantling a seriously dangerous myth about solar overpaneling, one that could, quite literally, instantly destroy your expensive 5,000-watt hybrid inverter. A lot of folks out there are making critical sizing mistakes based on some very common misunderstandings. My goal today? To make absolutely sure you aren't one of them. We're going to focus strictly on the harsh engineering reality so we can keep your system safe and humming along for years.
So let's start with a massive question. Can you connect as many solar panels as you want just because the MPPT simply limits the power? You've probably heard this advice online, right? People often say things like, oh, the inverter only takes what it needs, or oversizing by 20 to 50% is always totally fine. Now, while those statements are kind of partially true under very specific conditions, completely misunderstanding this concept is a guaranteed one-way ticket to frying your equipment.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We've got 1. The overpaneling myth. 2. True MPPT limits. 3. The mechanics of wiring. 4. The cold weather hazard. And finally, 5. The safe design checklist. Let's master the invisible electrical forces at play here.
Section 1. The overpaneling myth. Because, as you'll see, wattage really isn't everything.
A lot of users get laser focused on that 5,000-watt rating and just totally ignore the hidden limits, the ones that actually dictate whether overpaneling is safe or, completely destructive. The common myth is that inverters safely clip excess power, so you really only need to check the watts. Like, if you have a 5,000-watt inverter, you might think, sure, I'll just throw 6,000 or 7,000 watts of panels at it. The inverter will just clip the rest. And yeah, a hybrid inverter might actually survive power clipping. But the reality? Exceeding voltage limits permanently damages your equipment instantly. Voltage violations are absolutely not harmless. Section 2. True MPPT limits. Time to look beyond just the wattage. Your maximum power point tracker, or MPPT, actually enforces 3 crucial boundaries. The very first one is maximum PV voltage, known as VOC. So VOC is the open circuit voltage measured when a solar panel is disconnected from any load. And here's the kicker: never ever size your system using VMP, or maximum power voltage alone. You've got to check the panel VOC against your inverter's absolute maximum PV voltage. Why? Because if you exceed this VOC limit, your inverter's internal electronics can be destroyed before charging even begins. And let me tell you, power clipping won't save it because it's already fried. The second boundary is the maximum PV current, or ISC. That's the short circuit current reading, which tells you the maximum current a panel can possibly produce. A lot of folks get so wrapped up in their watts and voltage that they completely forget about the current. It happens all the time. But ignoring the ISC limit, that can lead to severe MPPT overheating, constant annoying shutdowns, a drastically reduced lifespan, and eventually total internal component failure. And that brings us to the third limit, the MPPT operating window. Let's say your inverter has an MPPT range of 60 to 115 volts. If your array is running below that window, let's say it's hovering down at 38 volts, the inverter technically sees the panels, sure, but the system really struggles to extract power. The MPPT just can't properly track it, and your production drops off a cliff. So successful design isn't just about staying below the max limits, it's about staying squarely inside that correct operating window. Section 3, the mechanics of wiring. We're talking series versus parallel. Our physical wiring choices drastically alter all these limits. Simply put, connecting panels in series spikes the voltage while the current stays exactly the same. On the flip side, connecting strings in parallel spikes the current, but the voltage stays the same. So every single time you add a panel to a series string, you're pushing your voltage higher. Now, that does improve MPPT efficiency, but it also drags you dangerously close to that maximum PV voltage limit we just talked about. Let's look at some math. For example, if you've got a panel with a 50-volt open circuit voltage, our VOC, and you string 4 of those together in series, you hit 200 volts total. Now, if your hybrid inverter has a maximum PV voltage of 145 volts, well, that 200-volt array could easily vaporize your electronics the absolute second you plug it in. Literally, just one extra panel in a string might be all it takes to push you right over the edge. Conversely, let's think about current. If you connect 3 parallel strings, and each of those strings pumps out 11 amps of short circuit current, or ISC, you're pushing a total of 33 amps. If your inverter is only rated for a 22 amp maximum PV input, you are actively overloading your MPPT. Remember, every additional parallel string pumps up the charging current, the input current, and the load on your cables. Moving right into Section 4, the cold weather hazard. This is a truly invisible threat, and honestly, one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make in solar design. The absolutely crucial point here is understanding how the environment impacts these numbers. Panel voltage actually rises as the temperature falls. It's a bit counterintuitive, right? But this means a solar array that's performing perfectly and safely at noon on a hot summer day can suddenly spike past its voltage limits and fry an inverter on a freezing winter morning. Professional designers never ever rely on warm, midday measurements. They always evaluate for the absolute worst-case voltage conditions. In fact, to quote the source material directly, the highest PV voltage frequently occurs when panels are cold and sunlight first hits the array. Think about that. Imagine stepping outside after the first frost, expecting a great day of power generation, only to find your gear permanently ruined. Why? Because your array spiked to 160 volts in the crisp morning air, but your inverter could only handle 145 volts. The MPPT was toast before it even tried to charge. You absolutely have to calculate for cold weather voltage spikes. Fortunately, we can totally avoid these expensive disasters with a bit of straightforward math. Welcome to Section 5, the Safe Design Checklist. Let's rely on verification math, not just guessing and hoping for the best.
Step 1, grab your inverter spec sheet. Find the absolute maximums for voltage, current, and the MPPT range. Step 2, get your solar panel data sheet and locate the VOC, VMP, and ISC. For Step 3, we crunch the numbers. Calculate your total series voltage by adding up the VOC values for your string. You've got to make sure this stays strictly below the inverter's maximum limit. And yes, that includes adjusting for that freezing morning frost we just talked about.
Moving right along to Step 4, calculate your total parallel current by adding up the ISC values. We really don't want to melt the MPPT here. Step 5, confirm your normal operating voltage is sitting nice and comfortably inside the MPPT tracking window. And finally, Step 6, just verify that your total array wattage plays nicely with what the manufacturer recommends.
A safe design respects every single specification simultaneously. Now remember, a lot of manufacturers do allow moderate overpaneling, because let's be real, panels rarely operate at their maximum nameplate rating all day long. Things like clouds, heat, dust, and wiring losses all drag down your real-world production. So overpaneling slightly to harvest a bit more energy when it's cloudy, or during early mornings and late evenings, that's completely fine. But those invisible electrical limits, the voltage and the current, those remain absolute boundaries.
So before you plug literally anything into your 5,000-watt hybrid inverter, you need to confidently answer yes to 4 golden questions based on your math. Number 1, is the voltage safe? 2, is the current safe? 3, is the MPPT operating range correct? And 4, is the total solar wattage within limits? If all 4 are a solid yes, you're on the right track. If any of them is a no, stop right there and redesign your setup immediately. Which leaves us with the single most important question you need to ask yourself right now, before you even think about touching a wire. What is the absolute maximum PV input voltage rating on your specific inverter? Go find that number, check it against your coldest morning calculations, or risk a massively expensive disaster before your system even has a chance to boot up.